Hi, so those of you who follow the channel know I've been working on a Omarchy-Cachy hybrid thing. Basically what it is, it sort of merges CachyOS with Omarchy, and it goes onto a USB stick and it becomes an ISO installer. So I'm on version 3 now, because some members pointed out a couple of points that I hadn't quite sort of nailed, which were things like when Omarchy would update, it would wipe out the Cachy updates, so you'd never update the Cachy kernels, things like that. So I've had another go at it, and it's interesting because I've got a new ISO from Cachy to play with, and I think next week or the week after, Omarchy 3.4 will go out. Now there's a release candidates out there at the moment, so it'll be really interesting to see how this works. So when they release 3.4, it does the update. Will this stay together? So it's a really good test. Anyway, so what I'll do, as usual, I'll go through, I'll do an installation, make the ISO, do an installation, and then you can see it, and then we'll run a game or two and we'll have a look at the benchmarks from it and just see what we get. So yeah, so interesting. And a quick aside, I've had to slow down on making videos because I had to completely change my whole setup. The box I was in before was having problems, the mini ATX box. So I got one of these Fractal Era 2 boxes, which is quite sweet. They're £68 on Amazon in the UK at the moment, which is crazy because when I looked at these, like nearly £200 last year. Anyway, so that was a bargain. So anyway, I had to change my computer over and everything. Hopefully I'll make it easier because I can get into that thing easier to switch out graphics cards for testing. So yeah, so new computer. Great stuff. Anyway, with all that ramble said, let's dive in, make the ISO, and then install it and see how it goes. Here we are on Omarchy. New desktop called Miasma. Interesting, but this will be coming in, I think, 3.4, but there's also quite a cool, hang on, let's just get into this, themes. Let's start themes. There's a really cool Tokyo Night. That's pretty cool, but I don't normally have it on because it makes me look orange. But anyway, we won't be doing that for very much longer. So let's just bring up a terminal, and then let's bring up File Finder. I've made a folder in here somewhere in my millions of folders. There we go. So what we need to do as usual, we need to put the latest Cachy installer in the same folder as the script, and the Omarchy installer, I'm still using 3.32. But yeah, and then you use sudo, bring that over. It's version 7. I mean, it's version 3 for you, it's version 7 for me. I think there's an 8 as well. And then we run it on my test machine. Here we go. So what it'll do, it dives into both of the ISOs, pulls out the Omarchy part, and pulls out the Cachy bit and puts them back together into an ISO. So it's detected a new ISO there, because that's an updated version. And then off it goes. This should stress the CPU out a little bit with that. Does that still work? Super Shift T. There we go. I've still got btops mapped to that, but it doesn't normally, it doesn't do it by default anymore. So what you'll end up with, is it going to do it? CPU is going for gold. Is it the compression that it does it? No. Well, it's done it. Okay. Okay, let's give it a that. Again. Oh, sorry about that. It has made the ISO. So all I need to do now is copy it, copy, and put it on my Ventoy drive, USB key, and let it copy over, and then we'll reboot. So I'll jump off and I'll meet you back when we've rebooted into Ventoy, and then we'll go through the install. Okay, so here we are. So I'm in Ventoy, I've rebooted. So I've just got some other bits on there. So I'm just going for OMACAT online, the weird names it makes up. Boot normally, Cachy. Let it do its thing. Now, I've got this obviously on a wired connection. It comes up and asks if you do it on Wi-Fi. It's a bit, not really heavily tested on that, so I do recommend using a wired connection. But I think I fixed the issue with them. I fixed it with the WPA supplement thing and IWD, which was causing an issue on laptops. Anyway, so here we go. And off it goes. So yeah, okay, so up here, what we want to do requires active network, so it's detected that. And so you want to do 1, which is to wipe the drive. So it installs like Omarchy, there's no partitioning here. Right, network, verify mirrors, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to detect NVMe 0 and 1, which is the one that I want. Because the other one's my games drive, that would be a nightmare. Yes, all data, yes. And then you put in your username. And a password, and another password. And I just leave this as whatever it is. And then it's the same password. And then it will wipe the drive. So use the same password all the way through. Okay, so it's formatting it. So obviously it does exactly the same thing Omarchy installed. It creates an encrypted partition and then installs inside the encrypted partition. I mean, you could do this without it, but I mean, I could have set this up so it just did a normal partition. Might have been easier, but I just wanted to stick to the whole thing of Omarchy. So now it'll probably ask me for a mirror. Yeah, UK. And it'll go off to reflector. It'll go off and find the fastest mirrors for the downloads. He says. There we go. And then put everything down. Now there's a couple of yeses or passwords. There's a couple of passwords. But yeah, so this is getting stabler. I mean, it is getting more and more stable. The idea is to get to a point where it's like you can just get the 2 ISOs and just install this, because I know people have been switching over to Cachy repos and stuff like that. I've also managed to build, but we'll do this in a separate video, you can't switch to kernels. But I've actually worked out a way. I might show you this, see if it works in this. You can, I built a TUI that, well, I've modified the TUI that I built ages ago to switch kernels, but it didn't work on this. But I'm obviously, one of the big things about Cachy is changing the kernels. And you can fiddle around. I mean, you don't want to change them too much. The default kernel that comes on this is perfectly good for pretty much everything. But there are some other ones. I mean, you know, if you really wanted the Decify or a server version, I wouldn't want a server with this. But I mean, if you really wanted a different kernel, then it's detected I've got Ryzen 9. So it's detected I've got V4, Zen 4V, whatever it's called, the V4 packages. So it's got the detection built in, and it'll detect if you're on an Intel, all that kind of business. But I mean, yeah, I wasn't quite sure. We'll try the kernel switcher at the end before I do anything, because I'm sure I figured out how to do it. Okay, a bit more stuff. And then obviously when it completes this, it's got to go through and do the Omarchy install. Yeah, so having to gut my old computer and put it into a new box is like nightmare. I mean, it's a beautiful box I've got here, the Era 2, but I wouldn't want to ever open it again because it's like a snake's wedding inside. I mean, cable runs, whatever. It's just not my thing. So literally everything's shoved in, so it's not touching the fans. Great box though, and basically it's the same system as I had before. I just transplanted it. I mean, I do actually want to go back in. I want to try and be able to switch the graphics card, because the other one, you literally had to disassemble. It was so tiny. It was a star something or other. It was about that big. And it was just an epic to change a graphics card. So I couldn't test, because I've got an Intel card, a 9060 XT, and the NVIDIA. It's, you know, you want to put it on the same CPU. You don't want to have to keep... You don't switch computers, because then you can't really see the difference between the two. Anyway, it's a great box. I've had to move things around because the old box had everything on the top, all the USB headers and stuff. This is all at the front. So I've had to like completely change my setup for this thing. It's nice though. It's very, it's got cooling from the bottom that runs through. And it's really nice to work in. It's less fiddly for its size. I think it's just about the right size to do something with. Here we go. Getting there. And the first thing to do is an update, because I realized on the other version, on version 2, there was a problem. I did an update on it and it just exploded. What you should really get, well, you shouldn't get that many problems. You might get one thing, because I've switched out all the files that are problematic. Here we go. Very exciting watching stuff load, sorry. But I just want you to take you through in real time. I mean, I've got, it's downloading, I've got 150 meg internet. It's downloading in real time and doing it. It's much easier than speeding it up. And the thing to look for is anything red. Amber's bad, but red. There's amber's warnings. Some of it's taken care of later on. Here we go. All loading of the bits in. So there's some things Omarchy. Is it? It may not be. Password. Okay, so now it flip out, remove the USB, it says, enter, and it should reboot. There's a fail up there, but it doesn't mean anything. It should come back now and go through the Omarchy install, because that's all been copied onto the drive. Okay, first run. Well, this should launch Omarchy, he says. Right, password. Here we go. Now, it says set up Wi-Fi, which obviously you want to get back onto Wi-Fi if you've not got Wi-Fi. I've got wired, so I can go for continue anyway, which is 2. And then password. And it should start the Omarchy install. There we go. In the bizarre, I should correct that. I've worked out what it is. But I think it's nice to have the difference, because it's not proper Omarchy, is it? It's like sort of me fiddling. Now it's got to download a load of packages. Give it a second. Yeah, so 3.4, I think they're going to drop Omarchy 3.4 next week, maybe. There's release candidates on Git, but obviously it's released. I'm not going to look at it properly until they've released it. It's not fair, is it? I mean, they're fiddling with it. So they're trying to work out and fix things. But it's great that they put it out. I mean, because, I mean, I spotted something with the ISO and they fixed it like minutes, hours, which is great. And there's loads of other little bits I'm sure that people will spot. But yeah, really solid. I mean, I've migrated one of my systems to the release candidate, and I've done a clean install with the release candidate on a laptop and everything, and it's straight in. So pretty good. There's some nice features in there, but we'll talk about that in another video. I'll go through a full install, DaVinci Resolve, GameScript, and just look at the new features. Come on, how many total install, total to download 2 gig. It's got to pull down. So yeah. Yeah, bit of an epic. This is why I highly recommend doing this on wired, not Wi-Fi. I know you can do Wi-Fi, you've got a solid connection, but mine, as I discovered, which I wasted days figuring out what's going wrong. My Wi-Fi is garbage. So basically, well, it's all right for browsing the internet and watching movies, but anything that's, you need like a consistent download, no good. No good at all. Now this should burst into life in a minute, he says. Is it gonna? Yeah, it's doing it now. Here we go. It's obviously the wrong font. All the scaling is off, but realistically, I know DHS loves these aesthetics. I don't care about loading screens. It could just be like a thing. As long as it's giving you some indication it's downloading, it's fine. Here we go. Yeah, so the kernel thing, let me just talk about this. You can go in, because you're in the Cachy repos, you can download their kernel manager. That doesn't work. Oh, we're done. And there. And exit. Does its completion scripts. And we should reboot. Yep. So yeah, so the kernel manager part, that's funny. I put it on there thinking it would work, and it just doesn't. There's stuff because you've got limine to do with it. Just you need to do a few. There's a few more steps than just using thingy. So I modified my own kernel manager to work, and I think I've got it on here somewhere. So there we go. Let's just do an update, see if it crashes out. But first we do a fast fetch. Here we go. No signal. Come on, come on, come on. And here we are. Okay, let's just do fast fetch. Just make sure we're on the right thing. So fast fetch. There we go. So we are on CachyOS 6.8.1, and then up the top there, this little things indicate I need to do an update. So let's try that. So version 2. Oh. You need to reboot. This happened before. You need to do a reboot here. So first in, I think I've mentioned this before, you need to do a reboot on the system restart, and then it'll take the password. Here we go again. Right. Yeah, someone got quite out with this. I don't know why. I've written it in somewhere. It's a mistake I've made, but once it's rebooted, it's fine again. Right. Here we go. Right. So it says it needs an update. Let's do that. Yes. There we go. Now it's going to do a proper update, see what goes wrong or not. This was the thing that I hadn't got my head around. When it was doing this, it was wiping out the CachyOS update, and it was just pulling down Omarchy stuff. So it's looking for the Linux kernel, not Cachy's kernel. So it wouldn't do the update properly. Now, I'll be interested to see what happens with this. Quite a lot to update. Here we go. Chromium, there's a Chromium thing. Migrate, yeah, there's a GPU migration. What else we got? And now that's a Chromium problem. That's not a Cachy thing. Let me just get out of that. And let's get back again. Update. Yeah, that is a weird thing. It doesn't, the first time it does it, let's try again. There's nothing to do. That's fine. Warning, you're a bit newer than they are. Right, okay, so it's all good. So let's see if I've got this on here. On my games drive, OKM, this version here, I believe it's the one that works on this. Let's give it a go. Whilst we're there, let's just put Kitty on here. Okay, I can't remember this sudo. Anyway, let's chmod it. Chmod plus X. That needs sudo to run. Yes. No. Okay, you just drag it on around. Then it's Super Shift K. Super Shift K. There we go. So this is like an updated version of the kernel manager I made ages ago, but it works on Cachy. So if I go view current kernel, it's got CachyOS to continue. And then if I go to install or manage kernels, it should pull down. So currently we've got the CachyOS one. So let's put the bool kernel on. Install bool kernel. Yes. Password. Now, it sort of comes up with a description of what it's for, but I don't 100% believe it. Okay, so it should go through all its bits. And it should complete. And then I need to reboot to go back in and use it. Yeah. Right, so now view kernels. I've got bool in there, so I enter. And in this, you can just go in and revert to stock and clean up. So what I need to do is exit and then reboot. Okay. Thinking about it. Now this isn't me. This sometimes does this. Used to do this on the Cachy version, on the normal Omarchy. I don't know what it is. I should have done it. Maybe after I did those updates, they should have rebooted. Give it a minute. Get stuck. Just have to wait it out, I think. So obviously trying to do something in the background, isn't it? And it's not getting there. And this is the only thing. There's no reset button on this new machine. I might have to just sit here and wait for it. So I'm just going to wait for this thing to reboot. It's obviously doing something in the background, and I shall be back in a second. Probably going to do a hard reset off camera. That was hilarious. Literally the moment I stopped recording then, it did it. So it'll come back up now. And now I should be able to pull in. That's bizarre. There we are. The bool kernel. So that's now in my selection. So I can now hit this. And we're on the bool kernel. There we go. We should be in. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I might as well just do it whilst we're watching. Super Shift F. And over here I've got a special version somewhere in all these files, millions. Cachy, that one. There's a version there for KDE. Which one? Cachy over Omarchy. Cachy Super Shift S. Cachy. Which version is it? Hang on a minute. I've got so many scripts. Super Shift S Cachy only last month. That's the one that works. Right, let me just get that one. Downloads. Paste. And let's put that on there, chmod plus x. And then we'll run it, and then we should upgrade system, install everything that we need to run the gaming script. There we go. Still recommended packages. Right, so what I'll do, this will until I'm sort of a bit happy with this and more people have played it up, this will all be in the members area in a package. So there'll be the kernel manager, the version 3 script, and I'll put the game script with it as well. So you can download it from there as members and let you guys have members get an early play with all the toys. So then you can have a play with it, see what you feel. And then what we'll do in a minute, though, I'm going to just finish off downloading this. I'll come back when I've got Steam done and everything like that, and we'll just launch a game and we'll do a benchmark. Now, it's interesting. That box is slightly different, so I'm not sure about benchmarking because the old system I had was PCI 5 GPU into a PCI 5 slot. The Fractal Era 2 box, it's on a PCI 4 riser. So, I mean, it'll be slight frames difference, but because we've been dealing with slight frame differences, I don't know. So it's now running on PCI 4 because of the riser. I had to set that in the BIOS, so it runs on that. But anyway, I mean, we'll just see the sort of output. We won't do too many. I'll just do one quick test. Missing installation. Yeah. Proceed with installer. Yeah. Password control. Yeah. Shader cache. Glasses. Setup switching. Chimera. That's what it all runs on. Yeah. Remember to log out. Interesting. They changed something. That seemed to go in. Could not set reason for package GameScope. Could not find or read the package. Errors in repo packages. That's interesting. Interesting. Ah, look at that. There's an error. Removing from target list because of conflicts with GameScope Cachy. That's new. Let's see if it works. Missing file, GameScope Session Plus. I may need to tweak this because it's not pulling in the proper GameScope. Yeah, missing file. Let me just have a look. Interesting. Let me just have a look. Cachy. Anyway, I'll figure this out and the version will go up will work. So I'll get this set up and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. That was interesting. So there was an error in my script. It was trying to pull down there. I was getting confused by the Cachy GameScope Git thing. So I had to remove that and then pull down the proper one, with the Chimera one. Anyway, that's done. Also, when I was doing this, I've also updated the kernel manager because what happened was when I loaded the Cachy ball kernel in, it's using up the boot space. So I've done it with some management here. So if I just super shift K and bring it up, view current kernel states, now it says it's got, so basically what I'm saying is don't overload it with kernels. So like I'm going to use it with the ball kernel at the moment, but don't try and load up because you've only got a limited amount of space. I think you've got a gig or something to put your kernels in. Anyway, so yeah, I built in a bit of management as well. So that'll be in the version. Anyway, quick look at some games. Super Shift S and it launches up the games launcher, and we'll just do a quick run through of a Returnal. I've never tested this setup with the ball kernel because that's what we're on now, so I'd be just interested to see. I mean, I've done a billion tests with Returnal on the standard Cachy kernel and on the standard Omarchy kernel. Hang on, what's that? The background is going. Okay. We just do the benchmark and then fire up Helldivers. I think they've had an update. It's a game I should have paid a lot more attention to, but I got totally distracted by Arc Raiders. But there's a quite a big update, I think, on Helldivers 2. Anyway, let's get this thing to do its thing. I've got a monitor down here, you see, and watching what's going up on that one. The OBS is down here. The main thing's up there. Now I've just, what's it doing? I'll tell you what, there it is, it's doing it. It's because it keeps trying to download something for Tomb Raider. I don't know what it is every time I do this. Mind you, and the other thing is the games drive gets confused because I was just doing, the last video I did was Intel. So all the settings would be for Intel. Anyway, let's just do this. No, doing this spooky spaceman thing. Okay, so we're in it. Let's just do the benchmark. So settings, video 16:9, graphics. I've got it on epic, quality. Yep. And so the only difference with this is I've got the Cachy ball kernel. Now, someone in the comments will explain what the kernels do. I don't really know. I mean, you're getting so, the amount of frames you gain is just so minute, isn't it? But if it's a 10 frame increase, then amazing. But, you know, be interested to see. I think this normally clocks at about 80 or 90 on these settings. It should be 67% scaling. Yeah. So here we go. It always starts off quick. Then this bit drops it right down. There we go. 77. That's actually pretty quick. Quite sure what's going on there. Well, I'm sure it's like, is it 90? Normally 90. It's 90, 95 is the average with this. 97 was the highest it's ever got, I think. I can't quite remember. I'll have to compare it. I'll flash it up on the screen what the fastest one was. I'm sure it's 96. It's a bit confusing because I've got all that overlay on the top, and what it's just the frame rate behind it is different than the frame rate in GameScope. Won't you? Someone's mentioned this as well. I always run it with these overlays. The overlay itself, Mango Hub, could be losing me frames. I mean, you know, I don't run it on games. Sometimes I do because the CPU temperature gets a bit mental on this machine. It sits about 90. Even with all the new cooling it's got 5 fans in there. It's 90, yeah. Apparently you should undervolt it. But I doubt that thing will last that much longer. I'll probably upgrade it to something else. But keep the RAM. Obviously that's the big thing at the moment, is the RAM cost, isn't it? There we go. What we go, 100? So I think 90, 90 something, 95, 96. Here we go, and then the big bat thing flies out. As I mentioned before, I've never cracked this game. It's just, right, here we go. What are we going to get? 97. I think that's as much as I've ever got. Anyway, okay, so that's that. Let's just fire up Helldivers quickly. Have a look at it. I've already loaded Helldivers. I'll set everything to ultra. So it just does it just come out of this. Escape. Suspend and quit. End cycle and exit. There we go. Back to the launcher. Now, for those of you, I always do this. Control 2. Go into this. Like a Steam Deck. Switch off your frame limit. Put your overlays on. And now let's just go to Helldivers. Here we go. Fire that up. Now I've got both of those games on Proton GE compatibility. Just try and keep them all the same. Now, I suppose you could do Cachy Proton. There are some benefits. In one of the videos, the Intel video, there are a few benefits because of XESS. But, as I said in that video, XESS doesn't quite work properly anyway. So, I don't know if it's benefits or what it does. Anyway, so here we go. They should let me in quite quickly because I've already been through the Ministry of Truth. Sounds like someone we know, doesn't it? Ministry of Truth. intro part at the beginning. Come on. My CPU there sat at 90. Here we go. I've seen this. Right. Let's just jump in, do a mission. It's really weird. When it first came up, it was like frame limited to 30 frames a second, all sorts of weird stuff. Let's just quickly. It's really nice. Galactic War. Let's go there. Proceed to the pod. I'm going to land there. And I'm going to ready up. You know, that one, yeah. Ready up. There we go. Yeah, I should be doing a bit more with this game. I just haven't. I know it's fantastic and it's got a lot of people love it. And it's interesting because it's got the same arc rate as third person perspective, as opposed to I'm a normally big first person shooter fan. I mean, but this is, I don't know, I'm getting used to it. Here we go. So what am I supposed to be doing? Destroying some dropships. I'm going to get killed pretty soon, I can imagine. What's that? That guy's going to fire a flare, isn't he? How do I just blow them up? Is it grenade them? Maybe not. I don't know what to do. Do I have to go in and plant some explosives? Oh, what's that thing? That's not good. Oh. Oh no, I'm dead. I'm so dead. What's this? Yeah, that's not... Okay. Alright, that's enough of that. Escape, yes. That's that. Okay. Alright, so back to me. So there you go. Quite sorry, the long rambling video there. So there's version 3 of the Omarchy-over-CachyOS script, and then there's the kernel manager for this. Don't use that kernel manager on Cachy, on Omarchy. That just won't work. And then there's an updated version of the game script as well, because something it's thrown a wobbly there with the Steam Git. So I'll bundle all those 3 scripts together, put them in the members comments area as usual, and you can have a play. And the big test is when they release 3.4 Omarchy is to basically do the migration and see if anything blows up, and see how it works. But I don't know, it's pretty solid now. Well, it's getting solid, he says. I mean, I'm not really tested it as much as I should. I mean, this is one of these things that's the first time I've done it with the ball kernel. I mean, there's obviously loads of other things you could play with. I wouldn't use this. It's obviously at your own risk. It's this is very experimental. But if you can get some extra FPS out of games, then good luck to you. So yeah. So there you go. So give it a go. Download it in the members area. Give me some feedback if you spot anything. Someone spotted some dependencies that it didn't add. But if you can find anything, just let me know. And I can see if I can do it to version 4. And then eventually, after I've tested it with 3.4 a few times, see what I might push it out like I normally do with these scripts in a couple of months or something like that. And then you can all have a play with it. Don't blame me if it blows your machine up. And anyway, as usual, thanks for watching.